Gorilla jokes, animal jokes. Q. What is a gorilla's favorite cookie? A. Chocolate chimp. Q. What's black and dangerous and lives in a tree? A. A gorilla with a machine gun. How did Gertie Gorilla make the Playboy calendar? She was Miss April. What do you get if you cross a gorilla and a prisoner? A convict. How did Gertie Gorilla win the beauty contest? She was the beast of the show. How did the dog warn its master that a gorilla was approaching? He barked grrrilla. How do you prepare a gorilla sundae? You start getting it ready Friday and Saturday. What did George Washington have to do with gorillas? As little as possible, dummy. What do they feed a gorilla when he goes to Paris? Ape Suzettes. What do you feed a 600-pound gorilla? Anything it wants. What does a gorilla attorney study? The law of the jungle. What does a gorilla learn first in school? The APCs. What gives a gorilla good taste? 4 years in an Ivy League school. What happens if you cross a parrot with a gorilla? Nobody is sure, but if it opened its mouth to speak, you'd listen. What's black, brown and white, black, brown and white, brown and white, etc. A gorilla riding down a snowbank. What's black, hairy, and writes underwater? A ballpoint gorilla. When did the gorillas start to picket the cookie factory? The day they started to manufacture animal crackers. Which author do the gorillas love most? Joe Steinbeck, who wrote The Apes of Wrath. Which book makes prudish gorillas blush? The Naked Ape. Which city holds the record for the most suicides committed by a gorilla? Jumping off a tall building. Philadelphia. Which drink makes a gorilla feel tipsy? An apricot sour. Which technique does a gorilla borrow from another animal when it gets romantic? The bear hug. Who is the gorilla's favorite president of recent years? Harry Truman. Why couldn't the gorilla pitcher make it in the major leagues? His balk was worse than his bite. Why did both Germany and the US want to hire apes during World War II? Because they are excellent at waging guerrilla warfare. Why did the actor fire his gorilla agent? The big ape kept wanting to take more than a 10% bite. Why did the girl gorilla, engaged to the Invisible Man, call off the wedding? Because in the last analysis she just couldn't see it. Why did the gorilla fail English? He had little aptitude. Why do waiters like gorillas better than flies? Did you ever hear a customer complain, "Waiter, there's a gorilla in my soup"? Q. Why do gorillas have big nostrils? A. They have big fingers. Q. Why did the ape run around with a piece of raw meat on his head? A. He thought he was a gorilla. Griller. How does a gorilla become another animal? When a mafia don hires a big gorilla to be his bodyguard and the big ape goes to the cops and turns into a stool pigeon. How do you make a gorilla laugh? Tell it a whale of a tale. How do you make a gorilla float? 2 scoops of ice cream, some club soda and a very tasty gorilla. Q. Why don't the gorillas in the jungle play poker anymore? A. There are just too many cheetahs. Q. Why are gorillas so noisy? A. They were raised in a zoo. How did a gorilla come to be with Washington at Valley Forge? He had seen a sign saying, "Uncle Simeon wants you." How did a gorilla come to be with Washington at Valley Forge? He had seen a sign saying, "Uncle Simeon wants you." Q. Where does a monkey cook his toast? A. Under a gorilla. Q. Why did King Kong climb the Empire State Building? A. Because he couldn't fit in the elevator. Q. Why do gorillas have big nostrils? A. Because they have big fingers. Q. Why did the gorilla fall out of the tree? A. It was dead. Q. What do monkeys do when they're mad at each other? A. They have a gorilla war. Q. Why did the gorilla go to the doctor? A. Because his banana wasn't peeling very well. Q. What should you do if you find a gorilla sitting at your school desk? A. Sit somewhere else. Q. What's a monkey's favorite drink? A. ASAS gorilla. Q. How do gorillas get down the stairs? A. They slide down the banana sterling. Q. What do gorillas do when they go mad? A. Go bananas. Q. What do you call a gorilla playing Quidditch? A. Harry Potter. Q. What's a gorilla's favorite pop group? A. Bananarama. Q. What is a ape's favorite toy? A. Baboomerang. Q. What sort of key does a gorilla need to open a banana? A. Monkey. Q. Where do gorillas like to get their hair cut? A. Vital Baboon. Q. What's a chimpanzee's favorite music band? A. The Gorillaz. Q. What did the banana say to the gorilla? A. Nothing, bananas don't talk. How do you? A student named Jacob was sitting in class one day and the teacher walked by and he asked her, how do you put an elephant in the fridge? The teacher said, I don't know. How? Jacob then said, you open the door and put it in there. Then Jacob asked the teacher another question, how do you put a gorilla in the fridge? The teacher then replied, I know this one, you open the door and put it in there. Jacob said, no, you open the door, take the elephant out, and then you put it in there. Then he asked another question, all the animals went to the lion's birthday party, except one animal. Which one was it? The teacher a bit confused and said, the lion. Then the student said, no, the gorilla, because he's still in the fridge. Then he asked her just one more question. If there is a river full of crocodiles and you wanted to get across it, how would you? The teacher then says, you would walk over the bridge. Then Jacob says, no, you would swim across because all the crocodiles are at the lion's birthday party. She laughs and walks away.